In the peaceful village of St. Ignatius, where the mountains touch the sky and the rivers cut through the land like pulsing veins, an ancient mystery was about to be uncovered. Claire, a young mother of two, was going through tough times, growing debt, drifting away from friends, and the constant feeling that something was off in her life started to affect her deeply. She felt like the weight of it all was draining her energy, as if the universe had turned its back on her. One Sunday afternoon, as Claire walked through the town square, she ran into Grace, an elderly woman known for her deep connection with nature and her ancient wisdom. The old lady, with her white hair and sparkling eyes, seemed to understand exactly what the young woman was going through, even without saying a word. "Claire, my dear," Grace said in a soft yet firm voice, "I can see the winds aren't in your favor. Maybe it's time to listen to something that's been forgotten by many, but still holds great power." Claire, confused, looked at Grace. "What do you mean?" she asked, more curious than skeptical. "There are many secrets hidden in nature, and some of them are within your reach. Salt, for example, isn't just a seasoning. It's a conductor of powerful energies. I can help you get back what's rightfully yours and clear the obstacles around you, but you have to be willing to believe and follow the steps correctly." Claire's heart raced. She knew something needed to change, but she was afraid of it being another illusion. Doubt paralyzed her, but hopelessness pushed her to seek answers. "I'm ready," Claire said, determined. "I need to try, even if I don't fully believe it." Grace smiled, an enigmatic smile, as if she knew Claire was exactly where she needed to be. "Then let's begin." Grace led Claire to her house, which was on the outskirts of the village, surrounded by dense forest. The house seemed like an extension of nature, with large windows that allowed the sunlight to filter through the trees. Inside, the atmosphere was cozy, filled with the scent of dried herbs and aged wood. The first thing Grace did was ask Claire to sit at a rustic wooden table. She took a small white plate and placed a pinch of salt in the center. "Now, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Focus on what you want to attract and what you need to push away. The salt will help you channel your intentions." Claire obeyed, feeling a strange warmth begin to rise in her chest. She pictured the face of her creditor, the man who owed her a significant amount of money. She imagined him feeling guilt, regretting ignoring her request. Claire could almost see remorse forming in his heart. Grace, who had been watching in silence, began to murmur deep, low words as if speaking to the earth. The words seemed to carry an unexpected strength, spreading through the air like a mysterious fragrance. The energy in the room began to shift, becoming heavier, as if something was being summoned. "White salt, like snow, strength of the earth, absorb my pains, my sorrows, my anger," Grace recited slowly, as Claire repeated the words with her, feeling each one resonate within her being. The light from the candle on the table grew brighter, illuminating the plate of salt. Claire felt her heart beat faster, as if a door was opening inside her soul. She believed now that something was moving. "Say it loud, Claire," Grace said. "Don't be afraid of your own voice. The universe is listening to you. Let those who owe me remember their debts. Let my enemies feel the weight of their conscience," Claire recited, now with more confidence. "Purify my path and light my journey." The silence that followed was heavy. Claire felt like time had stopped. She sat there, staring at the candle, waiting for the outcome of something she didn't fully understand yet, but felt was about to happen. Grace watched her closely. "Can you feel it, Claire? The energy is shifting. It may seem subtle, but it's already begun. The salt, the candle, your intention, it's all starting to align." At that moment, Claire felt a wave of peace wash over her, and for the first time in months, she felt at peace with herself. What do you think of these rituals? Do you believe that the energy of words and elements can really affect our lives? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts on these powerful transformation rituals. As the ritual continued, Claire began to feel a growing sense of lightness, like something invisible was being lifted from her shoulders. It felt as though the energies around her were aligning, and the weight she'd carried for so long was finally dissipating. Grace, with her wise and reassuring gaze, noticed the change and calmly guided Claire to the next step. "Now, Claire," she said in a firm tone, "it's crucial that you understand something deeply. It's not enough to just follow the ritual once. True power comes when you trust the process and the energy that's being directed. The salt will help clear your path, but it's your faith, your trust in what's being done, that will bring the changes you're seeking. Claire listened carefully, but something inside her was already shifting. She couldn't explain it, but a sense of clarity and connection with the world seemed to grow within her chest. It wasn't just the physical act that was transforming her reality, but how she was connecting with herself and the forces around her. Grace led her to the window, where the full moon's light poured into the forest, casting soft, mysterious shadows on the ground. The moon, with its silvery glow, looked like a beacon in the middle of the night's darkness. Place the plate with the salt under the moonlight. Claire will amplify your intention and give you the strength to make your request heard. Leave it there overnight, absorbing the moon's energy. And when the morning comes, take the salt and sprinkle a little at the entrance of your home. This will create a protective barrier, pushing away negativity and opening doors for the prosperity that is about to come. Claire gazed intently at the plate. The salt seemed to radiate a soft aura, an almost tangible energy. For the first time, she felt like her faith was truly being tested. But instead of doubt, she felt a calm certainty that something was about to change. Have you ever had an experience with rituals or spiritual practices? Have you ever tried something like this to attract prosperity or protection? Share your story in the comments below and tell us what you felt when performing rituals in your life. When morning arrived, Claire woke up with a different feeling. The sun was rising and she felt strangely energized. She quickly got out of bed, feeling a renewed determination. The plate with the salt was still under the window, where the moonlight had gently touched it all night. She carefully picked up the plate, as if handling something sacred, and took it to the entrance of her home. With a gentle movement, Claire sprinkled the salt on the doorstep. The gesture, simple yet profound, seemed to carry a symbolic weight, as if she were creating an invisible barrier against everything that was keeping her from living in peace. But a doubt crept into her mind. What if none of this worked? What if it was all just an illusion? She sighed, trying to push the negative thoughts away. Remember what Grace said, Claire thought. Faith is what's going to make this work. With a determined smile, she stepped inside the house and went to the bathroom. There, she grabbed a glass of filtered water and, with the calmness of someone truly connected to what she was doing, added a pinch of salt. She stirred in a clockwise motion, quietly reciting the words Grace had taught her. Pure water. Take away all that is bad. White salt. Bring back what is mine. Let my home be filled with light, and my business with success. The motion of the spoon seemed to radiate a tranquil energy, as if the simple act of stirring the water was purifying not just the liquid, but the space around her. Claire smiled as she felt the energy of the water flowing into her, as if all the difficulties were being swept away with the circular movements of the spoon. After finishing the preparation, Claire looked out the window, observing the trees and the sky. She felt like something bigger was manifesting. Those simple actions, seemingly small, were weaving a protective net around her. But she knew she wasn't done yet. Grace had mentioned using other elements to intensify the ritual's effect, and Claire was determined to follow each step with confidence. The next day, Claire met with Grace again. They walked side by side across the open field near the forest, where the cool breeze caressed their faces. The air felt lighter, as if nature itself was waiting to reveal another secret. Grace, with her wise smile, led her to a new lesson. Claire, Grace began, there's something you haven't tried yet, but it could be crucial for your progress. The mirror. The mirror isn't just a reflection of your image. It's an amplifier for your energy. It reflects your intentions and helps intensify the power of your mind. When you use the mirror, you create a deeper connection with what's beyond what the eyes can see. Claire listened closely, feeling her curiosity growing. How could such a simple object have so much power? But she was willing to learn, her mind open to new possibilities. Place a mirror in front of you, Grace continued. Next to it, light a candle. The candle's light will reflect in the mirror, and in that reflection, your intention will be amplified. The mirror acts as a channel, directing the power of your mind to the universe. With a sense of reverence, Claire followed the instructions. She positioned the mirror in front of her and lit the candle. The light from the flame gently danced, casting shadows and reflections in the mirror, which seemed to come alive. The aura around Claire felt magical, as if time and space were aligning. She stared at her reflection and, with a focused mind, spoke confidently. Just like I see the light, may my goals become clear. Just like the flame reflects, may prosperity return to me. With every word, Claire felt a rising vibration inside her. It wasn't just the candlelight or the mirror she was looking at. It was her inner light, growing stronger. She couldn't explain what was happening, but she felt deeply that her intention was being amplified. The energy around her seemed to pulse, as if the universe was responding to her call. What about you? Have you ever used a mirror as a tool in your rituals? What do you think about the power of reflection and light to amplify our desires? Leave a comment below and share your experience with us. As the days passed, Claire continued with the rituals Grace had taught her. She could feel the changes, small but significant, beginning to show up in her life. However, Grace knew that there was still something crucial missing to enhance the process. Claire, have you noticed the stones and plants growing around the village? Grace asked one peaceful afternoon. These elements have a unique energy that can act as catalysts for your intentions. Stones are like amulets that hold your wishes, while plants are like messengers, taking your prayers to the universe. Claire got excited about using more natural elements, knowing they were connected to the very essence of life. Go out into the field and find a stone. Pick it up and say these words: Stone of the earth, hold my wishes, take away my anger, clear my path, bring back what I've lost, and protect me from my enemies. With Grace's guidance, Claire walked to the riverbank. There, she found a small stone that seemed to be filled with energy. She held it in her hands and felt a vibration that made her shiver. With her eyes closed, she recited the words, feeling the stone absorb all her intentions. Now, place the stone next to the dish of salt you used before. This will strengthen the energy and solidify your connection with what you're seeking, Grace instructed. Claire followed the instructions, placing the stone beside the plate. She noticed that something different was happening around her. The energy felt more intense, more alive. Now, let's take a bay leaf. Write what you desire on it and then burn it, said Grace. Claire took the leaf, wrote luck, prosperity, and protection, and carefully set it on fire. She watched the flames consume the leaf, feeling that every spark rising into the air carried her wishes with it, dissolving the obstacles that had been keeping her from reaching her goals. As time went by, Claire noticed that changes began to emerge. Subtle, but immeasurable. The debts, which once felt like an impossible burden to carry, started to be paid off, one by one, as if the very flow of life had been adjusted to bring her the relief she desperately needed. Even more surprising was the transformation in the way people treated her. There was something different about her presence, a lighter, more positive energy that radiated to others. They now looked at her with more respect, consideration, and even admiration, as if her very essence had been elevated. The energy surrounding her was more fluid, like a river that, once blocked by obstacles, now flowed freely, bringing renewal and prosperity at every turn. The invisible barriers that had been blocking her, preventing her growth and progress, started to fall away. Each day was a new revelation, a step closer to a life that felt more aligned with her true desires. But the most impressive thing, Claire discovered, was the internal transformation. She was no longer the insecure woman full of doubts. Her confidence had blossomed, and she now believed, unwaveringly, in the power of her own faith. It was as if the rituals not only cleared her path but also awakened a strength inside her that she never knew she had. Every natural element used in the rituals, salt, water, the moon, connected her to something greater, but at the same time, it brought her closer to her deepest truth. Now, With her life transformed and a new horizon ahead, Claire felt the universe was on her side. She knew, without a shadow of a doubt, that nothing could stop her. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable were now just challenges to be overcome with patience and trust. She had found the key to open any door, as long as she kept her faith and her connection to the energy around her. Time passed, and Claire felt stronger than ever. She continued to perform her rituals, now with unwavering confidence, knowing the universe was working in her favor. The energy she had cultivated inside herself, through the use of natural elements and the power of her faith, manifested with every step she took. She began to notice the little blessings that appeared in her life, the ones that used to go unnoticed. A renewed friendship, a good deal closed, a peaceful moment that made her breathe deeply, as if the very air was lighter and more fragrant. One quiet afternoon, Claire received a letter that would change everything. It was from an old friend who had been in town for months, but whom she hadn't seen. The friend, James, was someone with whom she had a falling out in the past, but now he was reaching out in a genuine way to apologize. He felt he had wronged her, and somehow she was the key to him finding his own balance. Claire felt a wave of mixed emotions. She didn't know whether to accept the apology or maintain the distance, but in that moment she remembered one of Grace's most valuable teachings. Forgiving is freeing the soul from the weight that corrodes it. And with that, Claire understood that true prosperity wasn't just about material things, but also about restoring peace in her heart. She sat at the table, pen in hand, with a blank sheet in front of her. As she had learned, words could transform energies, and she was about to use that to her advantage. James, I'm happy to hear from you. What happened in the past is behind us, and now it's time to start fresh. I forgive you, and I hope we can move forward with lightness and harmony. With the letter written, Claire sealed the envelope and sent it off, knowing that this gesture was more than just forgiveness. It was a way to open doors to the future, without carrying any more burdens or grudges. She was finally free to receive everything the universe had to offer. Claire knew that her journey of transformation was far from over. While she had achieved many of the goals that once seemed distant, an increasing sense that her mission was broader began to take hold of her heart. She couldn't keep what she had learned to herself. She felt, clearly, that her purpose now was to share this knowledge with others so that they, too, could experience the same transformation she had gone through. Claire knew that the energy around her, the connection with natural elements, and faith in her own power could transform lives, and she wanted more people to know that. One evening, while enjoying a warm tea on her porch, Claire became absorbed in the quiet beauty of the night. The stars were shining in the sky, and the soft sound of the wind in the trees brought a deep sense of peace. It was there, in that moment of calm, that an idea came to her mind like a flame lighting up the darkness. Why not write about my experience, she thought. Why not share with the world how salt, water, mirrors, stones, and plants had changed my life? Inspiration took over Claire like a gentle wave, and she felt an irresistible urge to put her words on paper. She no longer feared showing her true self to the world. With her heart full of gratitude for everything she had lived up until then, she began to write. Each word seemed like a key that opened doors in her own soul, and, at the same time, in the souls of others who needed a similar transformation. As she wrote, Claire realized that true strength didn't come just from the techniques or elements used. What had truly changed her reality was the connection to her own inner power, and the certainty that by aligning with the universe, she could manifest any change she desired. She wanted everyone to know that. The strength was within each one, and the key to transforming reality was in their own hands. The Claire who started this journey, insecure and full of doubts, was now transformed. She had become an empowered woman with a clear vision and unwavering confidence in her ability to create the life she wanted. By sharing her story, she knew she was planting something much bigger than just a simple account. She was planting seeds of change, and those seeds could grow anywhere, for anyone who wanted to transform their own life. And you, are you ready to transform your reality? What would you like to learn more about the transformation rituals Claire used? Leave your comment below and share your experience with us. If you liked Claire's story, like, share, and spread the energy of prosperity to everyone around you. Together, we can create a future of happiness and success.